All right.
Right. Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here today. My name is Priya Chhiba. I am the co-lead for the Data Center Facility Sustainability Group, together with Sean James. Today, Robert is going to present on data center facility metrics, but I wanted to take a moment first to give you all an update on what we've been doing in the sustainability group. So, thank you. So last year at this conference, we kicked off the Data Center Facility Sustainability Subgroup, and we've had a really busy year since the last summit. These are the focus areas that we decided to focus in on. So emissions reduction, water sustainability and water treatment, energy efficiency, and circularity and recyclability. On the side there, you see a copy of our charter. Once the presentation becomes available, you should be able to click on that and take a look at our project charter as well. What we've done is we've decided to focus in on a few work streams. The first one is metrics, which Robert will be presenting here today. The second one is water, heat, and energy. And there will be a presentation tomorrow at around 11 a.m. in the morning in the sustainability, the broader sustainability work group. And then after this presentation, we'll have a talk on construction emissions reduction. So I'm really proud of the progress this team has made. We've had some excellent leadership with Robert, Stevelin, and Aaron Wemhoff, who's not able to join us today. But really looking for participation, looking for people to join us. There's several other areas that we want to explore, like supply chain emissions reduction. So, you know, please feel free to join us. It's open, it's available. We have meetings monthly. And then here's some pictures from our progress since last year. So that's the three of us, myself, Robert, and Julius, kicking off the facilities work stream with a panel discussion. And then on the right, we have our panel that we had at the OCP Regional Summit in Prague last year, where we talked about sustainability and collaboration across organizations. That is something that the OCP is still pursuing with organizations like the iMasons Climate Accord and the CNDCP, so look out for more information on that. Thank you. I'll hand over to Robert.
Great. All right, thank you. All right, thanks for being here. We know there's like a ton of choices for you guys to go, so the work group appreciates you being here, and the planet appreciates you being here because we are talking about sustainability. Now second place of buzzwords in the data center industry. So you probably already have a good feel for what metrics you might want to measure for data centers, and you know, PUE has been there for a long time. It's done a great job. Measuring carbon is up there too, but that's not just it. There's a lot to it. And I'm going to step back for 2 slides before we talk about what we're getting into. You know, if you were to walk into a data center or look at a data center, how could you tell it's sustainable? So guess what I used to generate these images of data centers, right? I'm not going to say it. No. No. So, right, the one in the green field with windmills next to it, or the one that's in a nice, dense urban city, you know, multi-story, hard to say which one's more sustainable, right? So there's a lot of things we have to measure to actually understand it. And I like to look at things from a systems perspective. So if you were to draw a box around a data center and try to understand all the stuff that goes into it to make it, and then while it's in operation and all the stuff that comes out of it, what is it and what's the impact on the environment? So, you know, maybe the most important things are ones and zeros, and for you super technical people, yes, it's either electricity, energy, or optical energy, but I did ones and zeros just for better understanding of what it is. There's obviously one of the biggest things that goes in the data center is electricity, and it leaves is heat and potentially a little bit of noise. Water goes in, and that leaves as water vapor or potentially discharged water. There's going to be fuels that go into the data center, whether it's natural gas, diesel fuel, and that's going to go out as emissions, maybe noise also. And there's obviously a lot of equipment that goes into a data center. And because of all the refreshes that happen, equipment leaves the data center. And also keep in regard to the people that are going in and out of the data center and the physical local footprint that a data center has. So if you look at all these impacts of a data center, everything going in and out, right, you can start to get a feel for what kind of things we would want to measure to understand the sustainability of that data center. Now, as we kicked off this work stream, we had really good discussions on, you know, who's the customers for these metrics? Why do we make it? Who's going to be the user? Is it C-level? Is it somebody operating the data center? It's a little bit of both. And so this is what we came up with. First intent is obviously internal. We want to improve what we're doing. So allow data center designers and operators to track and make improvements. That's probably the most important reason we're doing this. And allow an organization to benchmark their facilities and then drive improvements over time. And then externally, you know, this is actually going to be a piece of the OCP Ready facility recognition program. So if you're not familiar with that, data center operators can get their facilities certified, and now we're going to add a metrics layer on top of that with respect to reporting requirements. You know, the other reasons is you look externally, as data centers go into municipalities, you've probably read a lot of different news articles with regards to communities not understanding, is a data center good or bad to have into their data center? So having a standard set of metrics helps there and helps educate that municipality. And then obviously for a customer who's looking to choose a data center to host equipment, it's going to help them evaluate on an even playing field, at least the sustainability aspect of the decision matrix. So what are the metrics? So we came up with, we're going forward right now with 5 areas of focus. The first one is energy. The second one would be greenhouse gases, basically carbon, water use, waste/circularity, and then impacts on the local ecosystem. And I'll go through those pretty quickly here in the few minutes that we have. And the other thing that we're doing is to line up with the OCP Ready program, we're identifying which metrics we think should be required to be reported if you're part of the program and which ones would be recommended. And understand that that would likely change over time as some metrics become more commonplace to report. They'll move from, you know, recommended to required. The other thing is what life cycle phase is it most applicable to, and it could be multiple ones, right? So, you know, in the next session, you're going to learn a little bit about the construction phase. So obviously, there are going to be sustainability metrics associated there. The operate phase, there's a lot, and then end of life. All right, so metrics be around. Not going to talk about every single metrics, but I'll highlight a few things here. All right, energy, what are you going to measure? Total energy consumption, power usage effectiveness, total renewable energy consumption, which gives you the input to do renewable energy factor, REF, and then energy reuse factor, ERF, and these are, most of these are all ISO standards, as you probably know. How am I doing on time? All right. Greenhouse gas is our largest category. Hopefully everybody is sort of familiar with what scope 1, 2, and 3 is. Scope 1, emissions on site, mainly diesel generator, refrigerants, things like that. Scope 2, purchased electricity. And the difference between location-based and market-based is your local grid, that's location-based, and if you have power purchase agreements for renewable energy, that would be market-based. And then scope 3, big elephant in the room, is the biggest emitter, and that's all the embodied carbon of stuff you buy, so the upstream as well as downstream carbon. I'd like to know if the facility is using carbon offsets in any ways and what those are. And then an advanced one is definitely the hourly carbon, hourly matching of supply and demand for your electricity. So if you're able to get renewable energy, that matches your demand. And that's a goal that some of the hyperscalers have, and they're getting very close. Water is interesting, and a lot of discussion in this area here. So how much you're using. And then total source is like how much is the electricity grid doing it. So if it's thermoelectric generation, there's generally a lot of water use in that, so it's good to know that. And then the WUE, water usage effectiveness. If you have any water replenishment programs, a very advanced one is total water use in the supply chain. So if you're buying equipment, how much water was used in that equipment, the making of the equipment that you're purchasing. And alternative water sources. So is it potable water, groundwater, reclaimed water? There's a lot of things there. Waste and circularity, and the biggest waste is there's a lot of e-waste generated, right? You do refresh of servers, are they recycled? Batteries are another thing, and do the diversion rates on that. And the last one is local ecosystem, total land use, the actual intensity, how dense is your data center. Outdoor noise is something that definitely even a lot of communities care about with regards to your cooling towers, generators. And then mean species abundance is it actually came out of France, and it's a method to measure the local ecosystem and the impact that a facility might have there. So, everybody got the metrics? Sorry about the speed round, but the paper is in draft form, and we're going to hopefully finish it off by the end of the year to get it published and make it part of the OCP Ready facility program. So if you're interested in helping out or knowing more, you can join it. The links are on the website. And I would like to hear what everybody here is saying with regards to sustainability needs, anything we missed, what do you see in your deployments? And of course, groups.io is the way to go sign up for the email list and see what's going on. I think that is it. I forget, I don't even know when I was supposed to end, so I think I'm on time. Any questions from anybody? All right, thank you.
All right, yeah. Corey Devin with Siri. Hey, on the e-waste side, a lot of data centers have really made improvements to extending the life of hardware.
Yeah.
I think Microsoft went from 4 to 6 years or whatever, and so we don't talk about the embedded carbon in manufacturing new hardware through that life cycle. Is there any work in this white paper to identify the carbon avoided by that extended life cycle?
So we haven't done any specific work on the embodied carbon, and that of the IT gear in the data center, it is generally over half of the carbon, especially if a data center is buying renewable energy. The IT equipment is by far, right? We've had discussions with IT manufacturers that are going, well, what's the trade-off between upgrading to a new server and using less energy and potentially less water versus extending the life of the other one? And so there's an interesting equation there on better performance, more efficient, better performance, and renewable. But to your point, this particular paper won't get into the specifics of the scope 3, but that probably should be a different work group. It is a topic in the industry to get the LCAs and now all that stuff of all the equipment in the data center so it can be tracked. And I think that's probably where some of the biggest work is being done.
I can answer that. So there is a broader sustainability group that is focusing in specifically on the embodied carbon of IT and hardware. So that is a program that's ongoing. They have a work stream running as well. So if you are interested in that, you can look out at the group IO site that was up earlier on and be able to take a look at that. Data center facility sustainability is only focused on the facility side, so everything outside of IT and hardware.
Great. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Maybe I'll jump in first, if that's okay.
Oh, sure.
Hi, I'm Sarah Smith. I'm with Berkeley Lab, and we're working on our next report estimating energy use in data centers across the U.S. And one of the questions I had, which maybe was answered by the point you just made, was in a lot of these metrics, the denominator is always the IT energy use, so PUE, WE, so on. And I'm curious if any of these metrics you're looking at, or maybe some of the other groups are looking at, use a different functional unit that maybe captures something more of the functionality of the data center, or how much, you know, is being done in some way.
Yeah, there's another work group for that. Right, with regards to how do you measure compute output versus the energy. I don't know if you know a little bit more on that, but yeah, that's the holy grail of data center metrics, to be able to standardize a quantity of work output to energy, water, everything else. So there's been a lot more talk and I think progress made, but.
So for these metrics here, it typically is all still referencing the IT energy use?
It is, just okay. That's it, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, the other group is actually starting to dig into the server and actually look inside the efficiency of the IT equipment too, which is good, but so we're getting there.
Okay, thanks.
So we speak about this a lot, and I know that, but PUE is like a nice grandfather that was very generous, but now it's getting you old. When do you see that it's going to be replaced by maybe something a little more aligned with the current events?
So personal opinion. So I always defend PUE because it does exactly what it was defined to do, and it's really gotten the data center facility overhead really reduced. And you'll hear a lot of talk about, okay, there's liquid cooling, and there's a lot of savings at the IT level that happens with liquid cooling, which are not captured by PUE. So you could have two data centers that are equal. One's air-cooled, liquid-cooled. The PUEs maybe look the same, but the liquid-cooled one's using a lot less energy. Lawrence Berkeley National Lab has done a bunch of work on a thing called TUE, and then there's other stuff. So I think there'll be complementary metrics that'll help capture that savings. I don't know if PUE will go away.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all.
Yeah, thank you.